The key initiatives there is driven by ICASA. They are doing work in terms of unbundling the loop, and in the process of an unbundling will open more channels, and opening more channels will help drive the price down. Another initiative is to work on the private-public partnerships, because that is where government and the private sector can work together to bring the different skills, because government has got what they need to be done, and the private sector have got the know-how on how to do it. And then they can accelerate that, because that will also help drive the regulatory process, because with the private partnerships, they'll be able to work on a deal that will be a win-win between the government and the private sector. And that is what will help drive the price down.
So you told me that there is no ICT government department. That seems to be, having spoken with CETA yesterday, they told me that there's a need for a more sort of consolidated effort, that at the moment we're working in silos, everyone in their own department, and we need more consolidation. Are we going to see a formation of an ICT department to bring everyone under the same umbrella?
Currently, the answer is there is what is called state IT agents, whose primary role is more on the procurement and supply of the services. When you say ICT government, in other words, there is a need, which another discussion we had, of coordinating all of this under one umbrella, so that we know what is the whole vision for ICT in government. CETA being part of it, the government department being also part of the whole infrastructure.
So what work is the government doing with ICASA to improve South Africa's regulatory framework in terms of promoting sort of access to the market, to reduce price? We have seen prices being phased down. Can you give us more detail there?
More detail with ICASA there, but based on what I have heard from the conference yesterday and today, is that they are working, they do recognize that the speed of regulatory framework is an obstacle, and they're working on it in order to accelerate the regulation.
Would you say that South Africa's current regulatory framework is conducive to attracting investment into ICT in the country?
I think for me the most important thing is not necessarily the regulatory framework, but the will to do work that is going to contribute to the build-up of ICT infrastructure. In that case, I say the government has put up the will to do that, because currently there's $3.1 trillion that has been set aside for infrastructure as a whole, which is the 17 projects that are part of the Presidential Infrastructure Coordination Commission. So the will by the government is there, and I believe that with that will is going to bring suppliers to come to investment into South Africa.
And what for you are the biggest issues with South Africa's regulatory framework, and where are the bottlenecks showing?
I'll speak for me as somebody who's lived in another part of, I've lived in the US for a while. And one thing that has happened there that is not happening here, which might happen later, was the whole idea of the framework, the legal framework was to open up the opportunity for other businesses, including small businesses. So the big companies had to be broken down into small businesses to be able to capture the market by different. Have the market be supplied by more than one big company.
Is there any hope that we'll see that in South Africa?
I believe we will. I mean, currently we've got the three major ones. We've got Telkom, and then the wireless one, Vodacom, MCN, Telkom, MTN, and I believe that we'll see more of them because the pie is bigger. And as the pie is bigger, many people will have to have the slice of the pie.
And will we see policy following the same direction to really open up access to the market?
I believe that's going to happen. I think one of the things that we are in this age now is that some of the things are not necessarily driven from the policy to the user. They're driven from the user influencing the policy. And that is where I see currently there's 4.6 million Facebook users. And that 10% of the population. And those people are actually driving what they need. some of the things they need, government has not even thought of.